I'm Kane, that's Cope's first show is out of the way, and you can tell because this week you figured out how to spin a ball. Copes, you must be feeling good.
Feeling great. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad that we got back here, and I was a little bit confused, and you should be fresh this weekend because as I sat down on the weekend to watch NBL basketball, there was one voice and one face that I didn't see on my TV screen. We're 3 weeks away from the NBL playoffs. It's a historic postseason race. You called in sick? You gave yourself the weekend off?
Never call in sick. I was working too hard, Kane. Sometimes when you work too hard, your body tells you you need to slow down. So I just took a little rest, went to a pub, and I saw our show live.
Went into multiple pubs. You're a legend on the court. You're also a legend in the nightclubs around Melbourne. But speaking of legends, I got to hang out with an NBA legend, a straight-up basketball legend, future Hall of Famer, 14-time All-Star, MVP, NBA champion, Dirk Nowitzki. What do you think about this, Copes?
Did you do that today? Was that filmed today?
Why do you ask?
You got the same shirt on, bro. Did you shower? Come on, Kane. We got to get you some new shirts. I'll get you a couple of shirts, bro.
That was a week ago. We're searching for a sponsor. That is me pleading for a sponsor for this show. I'm wearing the same clothes every day. I'm like Homer Simpson. We need some help, Copes.
Hey, was he a nice guy? Is he a nice guy?
As advertised. This guy has done millions of interviews across the course of his career. Hounded everywhere he goes. There was hundreds and hundreds of fans outside the NBA store in Melbourne asking for autographs, asking for photos. I saw grown adults in tears getting to meet Dirk Nowitzki, and that's when you realise that you are dealing with an all-time legend. And we should thank Chris Anstey for bringing the legend to the game out to Australia and presenting this opportunity for basketball fans.
Dirk, you're right. He's an absolute superstar. A guy that I used to watch play, can still shoot it. He plays tennis, he plays golf, he does it all. And I think he brought his family out for a vacation, so happy to have him out in Australia.
Did you ever meet your hero?
I was my own hero. What are you talking about?
What about the guy on your shirt?
Oh, yeah, I got a chance to watch him play while I sat on the sideline.
Yeah, we all watched Michael Jordan play.
No, I was on the other bench, though. You understand.
Okay, all right. That is a fair point. Who are you playing for?
Philadelphia 76ers, first round
of
the playoffs. His first year as a champion. He won his ring. They knocked us out in the first round, and I cried like a grown man.
We love to hear it. And I'm intimidated just sitting next to you doing this show, Coach.
So you should be.
But speaking of intimidators on the court, when you think about Dirk, you think about KG, you think about Tim Duncan, the great power forward, maybe now centre class that are all going to the Hall of Fame. And I had to ask Dirk about KG and whether he had any stories from their battles.
Have you got any KG stories? Because the players' KG stories, it feels like this man would be going absolutely nuts if the water isn't boiling quick enough for his coffee in the morning.
He is one of a kind, but his intensity is what made him so great, right? I mean, his competitiveness. I remember we had a game where it was going back and forth, and we had a timeout, and I get up out of the huddle, and he had left his timeout huddle early, and he was already waiting outside of our huddle. So as soon as I got up, he's basically standing right here, and he's walking nose to nose, breathing in my ear the entire time as I walk to my spot. So it's just, that's who KG was. He tried to intimidate you, he tried to compete at the highest level, and he was definitely one of a kind, but he also, brought out the best in you because he made you compete, and he wanted to kick your butt.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
You guys are pretty level. He's 7'1", and you're 5'3". Were you sitting on phone books or something? What was happening there?
You've got to prop yourself up a little bit. The camera can only do so much, Copes. You should understand that. But again, the interesting thing about the intimidators there, now you played in an era where all the old heads like to talk about the fact that basketball was tougher back in the day. It was more physical. Was there anyone in your era that was that type of intimidator that all game for the full 48 minutes wanted to get in your head and potentially make you a little bit nervous?
There was a guy named Ray Gordon who played with us. He wanted to fight everyone. And Lindsay would sick him on the guys like Shane Hill and Ricky Grace and all the guards who were quicker than me and used to get around me. The only problem was that hurt my playing time. So I got smart and said, I better start playing defense because, as we know, Gazy was never coming off the court. He averaged 49 minutes in a 48-minute game. So I had to learn to play some defense and be that intimidating guy.
Were you a trash talker? Were you an intimidator?
100%. Look, because we were bigger guards, like we talk trash to all the smaller guys, post them up, mouse in the house, throw me the ball inside. But, nowadays, these guys are much bigger than us. Guards today, 7 foot, so I'd probably struggle myself.
All right, speaking of trash talk and speaking of potential arguments, we saw a little bit of a battle between Russell Westbrook and Lakers assistant coach Phil Handy. Now, we understand the Lakers are struggling, Copes. 20-24 on the season. When you've got LeBron, you've got Westbrook, you've got AD, the expectations are higher than that. What did you make of this little interaction here? You know Phil Handy.
I know Phil very well, and I know Phil didn't take that the right way. Now, obviously, the coaches have to get better or have to do better. But when a guy like Russell Westbrook says that to you after having the 2 bad years he's had, it sort of bumps you up a little bit. Now, Phil would have said to him, calm down, let's go in the back and talk about it. But Russell, you can't call him out like that. And I think even LeBron said, Russell, calm down. Look, Phil, these guys are doing a great job. We're starting to win. Let's not cause any problems.
And Russell Westbrook was asked about this altercation in the post-game press conference. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, man, honestly, it's just a conversation. I didn't get into it with anybody. But obviously, people are going to perceive it however they wanted to, but just voicing my opinion, and that was it.
Russ, can you share with us what the topic of was? I mean, Darvin said rotation.
No.
Okay.
So Russell Westbrook, it's interesting because we know at times through the course of his career, he's been a little bit difficult to deal with, and the Lakers aren't winning, as we mentioned. Where does Darvin Ham fall into this, the first-year coach for the Lakers? Because Westbrook has only started 3 games, and in the past, he has been difficult to manage and perhaps not wanting to accept that role off the bench. How do you think he fits with this Lakers team and the job that Darvin Ham and Phil Handy and the Lakers coaching staff have had to do?
Well, I'm surprised they haven't traded him yet. Look, we know he's a superstar. He was a triple-double king. He gets a triple-double whenever he wants. But he's ball dominant. He has to have the ball in his hand at all time. And when you're playing with guys like LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that's not going to happen. And obviously it didn't fit. But Ham is a smart coach. He told him from the beginning, I'm going to back you, but you're going to do it my way. You're going to come off the bench, and I'm going to give you these minutes. Let's not have any problems. And so far it's working out. But if I'm the head coach, if I'm the general manager, I'm getting him out of there. But the problem is, too, I think he's making $48 million this year or something like that. Is it $48 million?
He's making a lot. He's not wearing the same clothes 2 days in a row. That's for damn sure, Coach. But you said you know Phil Handy. Bring some juice to the table. I know I'm the journo. I'm supposed to be bringing the scoops, but what's Phil telling you? What's going on?
Phil's telling him, slow down, young fella. You slow down or your ass is out of here. That's what Phil's telling him. No, Phil's a good guy. He's a great coach. But he, as we know, he had words with LeBron James. And anytime you can get a coach to go off on the superstar, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, then he has, his priority is the team and not about himself. He's trying to, get these guys to win some games.
And Phil Handy, obviously highly respected. Let's get to Ben Simmons. So we understand the Nets are in an interesting position right now. Kevin Durant out for the month, and we need to see what Ben Simmons can do on the floor. He actually had a triple-double in today's game against the San Antonio Spurs, but went scoreless the first game without Kevin Durant against the Boston Celtics, as you can see there. So my question to you, this is an opportunity for Ben Simmons without the 29 points per game on insane efficiency of Kevin Durant. Does Ben Simmons, regardless of where his skill set lies, need to be doing more and need to be more aggressive looking to score?
You're not going to change Ben Simmons. I'll say it again. You're not going to change him. He's an assist man. He will rebound for you. He's not a scorer. Now, yes, he can score. He can score, but there's a difference between I can score and being a scorer. That's not his game. His game is all about getting that ball out, passing it to the other players, rebounding the ball, playing good defense. And that's what they brought him there for. They got Patty Mills, they got Curry, they got KD, they got Kyrie, all can shoot the ball from outside. My job is to get you the ball, and that's what I'm doing. And so, yeah, it looks bad, but then again, why would you want to change this guy when what he does is off the charts?
So the big thing that we've seen with Ben this year, his field goal attempts are down and he's not getting to the free throw line, and we know that he's had his struggles. He's averaging around 1.5 free throw attempts per game, only shooting 42%, which is well below what he's done over the course of his career. His confidence is clearly down. But for this Nets team, if you get to a playoff situation where Kevin Durant might be in foul trouble, if Kyrie Irving maybe misses a game, they are going to need him to be looking to aggressively score in the playoff scenario.
And you got troubles. Because, again, like you said, he's lost his confidence. And guess what? Teams are smart enough to know we're going to foul Ben. We're going to send him to the line, hack a Ben, like hack a Shaq. Send him to the line, make him shoot the free throws. If he doesn't knock him down, as a coach, you got to take him out of the game. He can't be on the floor.
Well, they are a contending team, the Brooklyn Nets, no doubt about it. But what about the San Antonio Spurs and the Golden State Warriors earlier last week playing at the Alamo Dome? 63,000 fans, Copes, at an NBA game, an all-time record as far as attendance goes. But my question for you, you've played in a lot of buildings, you've played in different environments. We've seen the NBL experiment with the open-air games, which the fans absolutely love.
And I don't.
What is your favourite building to play in, or what was your favourite experience?
Look, as a player, you want to be comfortable, and I guess Sydney, Perth were the best for me because I had success there. We won championships in Perth. I scored a lot of points in Sydney. So whenever we got to those arenas, those were the places I loved to play. This open air game you keep talking about, you love. The reason I don't like it is because I'm a shooter. Any little wind blowing knocks that shot over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's great for the fans. It's great, to sit there and watch it. But as a player, I don't know if the players love it as much as the fans do. But it sells tickets, so leave it alone. Bring it back.
All about the stats, Copes, as we know. And what about Jalen Duren? A Detroit Piston has lost his passport. We're getting to that in just a second. But first, let's go to the big ticket KG and some of his best dunks.
Marbury, Garnett, Sealy, Mitchell, either on the floor, Steph with a drive.
Oh, baby! The big ticket has just punched it home for the world. Oh, baby, what a play!
Is there another level to which Kevin Garnett can climb? Pitman for a Campbell, the cross-court pass over Dice, stolen away by Rondo. Steph Estrada on Rondo, lead for Pierce. Has the step, drops to the trailer. Garnett! Big time flush with the right hand.
You got a big fella.
That is a fat head flush. Theo Ratliff coming soon to a poster near you.
Chuck Fursett with Mitchell flying at him, comes in, Garnett punches the ball. Terry Porter picks it up. Garnett's lurking from behind. Yeah, he's going to get it and dunk it and get fouled.
Wow.
What a play by Garnett.
And you can see it coming the whole way.
Bibby comprise those two positions for Sacramento.
He just crossed over and left Chris Webber standing in his wake.
If he got 2 fouls, he would not get that third.
Garnett's going to drive for this one and two.
That was a man dunk. To say the least, are you kidding me? That took my breath away. That was absolutely amazing.
Beautiful crossover by Marbury, and both big guys went and blocked it inside. Clearly Duncan had it. They turned it over. Alley-oop back to Kevin.
Oh, baby! Woo! KD!
And the building is electric off that slam dunk.
Looking inside, Robinson. Oh, Garnett! Where did he come from? Oh, what a play. He looks like he's on a trampoline and everybody else is playing his street shoes. Oh, baby! Bring home the big ticket. I feel you, young fella. Don't be so mean, KG.
Brandon over Weber.
Oh, Kevin Garnett.
And that gets the crowd into it.
This first meeting between Shaq and Yao. Theo takes it inside. Yao, first touch. Find Shaq and look out! Oh, early, all Yao.
Shaq's getting into a rhythm and roll here.
Yao's really challenging him up and down the court. Big fella, the putback. Yao is at the table ready to check in. Right back to Yao, lays it up and in. Is a much anticipated matchup of the big men. Tie game at 7. Turning inside, he slams it home. Shaq 5 of 10 from the field in his 20 minutes. We will have overtime. Shot, now he gets a Bryant. Oh, big guy! Huge win for the Houston Rockets in the first meeting between Yao Ming and Shaquille O'Neal.
Copes, you know you have to be an insane individual to make Shaq look small, but that's what Yao Ming did. 7'6", just an absolute monster for the Houston Rockets back in the day.
He was a big guy, big character too. I remember playing against him in China. We played against the national team. He's a bigger superstar than Michael. No kidding, because fans everywhere. There was so many fans on him. They had to put him behind the ticket counter, and police surrounded the ticket counter just so the fans wouldn't attack him. He's massive, and he's big in size as well, obviously.
Yeah, he was also at the Women's World Cup in Sydney back in September, and still to this point been out of the NBA for over a decade, and he's still got security team following him around because the fans want to get to Yao Ming. He is an absolute superstar, there's no doubt about it. Now, basketball's going overseas. Paris, Chicago Bulls facing the Detroit Pistons, and Jalen Duren, you would have thought was going to play a big part in this game, Copes. He's averaging 25 minutes per game. He started in 15 games this season, and you can see the teams here posing for photos in front of the Eiffel Tower, soaking up all the sights.
Excited.
They are fired up. Jalen Duren not there. He's currently looking through the socks and jocks drawer back at home, searching for his passport. He was unable to find his passport.
That is crazy. Let me tell you something. I got a story.
You always do.
Listen, we played, speaking of going to China, we went to China to play the national team, and we had a rookie on the team, Daniel Egan. And the night before we had training, Lindsay says to Daniel, to all the guys, don't forget your visa.
Yes.
Daniel comes to the airport with his father's visa card. No lie. We had to leave him at the airport. He was shattered. The amount of jokes we had for Daniel by the time he met us there in 2 days in China, but the amount of jokes we had for him, oh, I felt bad for the kid. He never talked. He's the shyest kid in the world. We gave it to him.
Shout out to Daniel. Hopefully he's maybe not liking the call out while watching Kane and Copes. Do you like the NBA traveling to these international games?
I do. I think it helps the international game as well. You look at guys like Doncic and Jokic and all these guys. It's made basketball a lot even now. Back in the day, obviously the NBA, when you speak of the American Dream Team, was all about gold medals. But now these guys, these international guys, are so much better. Dirk Nowitzki, these guys are so much better now because these Americans come over and play in their country and they learn the game.
Well, you've lived in Australia for 30 years and you still don't claim that you're Australian. You can jump on the bandwagon if you want.
Do I sound American?
Well, it's hard
a little
to say.
slice and you see red, white, and blue come out. I bleed red, white, and blue, bro.
Well, we don't need to get into it. Could there be an NBA game in Australia, though?
I would think so. The problem is it's so far away.
I know.
That's what everyone keeps saying. But because we have so many players, Australia has so many players playing in the NBA, it's going to happen one day.
All right, let's get to a big question in all of sports right now, but particularly basketball tanking. But we're versatile on this show, Copes. We can mix between sports. And we're going to go to the NFL because we saw something in the final week of the regular season of the NFL. This is the Houston Texans. That's Davis Mills. He throws the Hail Mary. Jordan Akins.
He wasn't supposed to catch that, was he?
Now, the problem with this is that Hail Mary was completely unnecessary because that touchdown ensured that the Texans went from having the #1 overall pick in the draft and they ended up with the 2nd overall pick in the draft. This guy in front of him, just put your hands around the pill. It's not hard, wrap it up. But Texans fans, they win the game and they are absolutely devastated. Tanking, what do you think?
Look, if you know you're going to get, I mean, it's the wrong thing to do, but if you know you're going to get an absolute superstar that next year, just drop that ball. I'm dropping it. I'm dropping the ball, Kane.
So Victor Wembanyama, everyone wants to talk about him. If you are one of these teams that's near the bottom of the NBA standings and you're on the roster, but what if you're a player that he's going to come in and going to take your spot? What should teams be doing with a talent like Vic?
I think what they should be doing is getting him ready to play for that team. Now, if I'm on that team and I know he's coming, I'm losing every game. I'm tanking. I'm losing every game we can to try to get him on the team. Once we get him on the team, then you know you're going to be a chance to make the playoffs.
And the tanking conversation has exploded since the Philadelphia 76ers, and teams were doing it beforehand.
The process?
The process. This is what really launched this full-scale, systematic franchise planning to lose for a long-term strategy of hopefully winning. Now, the problem for the Philadelphia 76ers is they've never got beyond the 2nd round, and that man right there, Brett Brown, I've always said it. What was he supposed to do? He was coaching a team that was not set up to win.
He was smart, though, because he did his best. He had the guys out there competing every night, knowing he wasn't going to win because the talent wasn't there. Now, at the end of the day, now you see the talent. Embiid and those guys are playing a lot better, and the team's starting to win. But Brett took a hit for the team. He took a hit, and I feel bad for him because we know he can coach.
He did, but the problem is Joel Embiid was drafted 8 years ago, Copes, and they still haven't got out of the 2nd round. It's not working.
Well, you might be right, but if I'm going to get Wembanyama,
yeah, well, you're working on it.
I'm tanking. I don't care what you say.
Okay, but what about Philly? You know these fans in Philly. and they've had enough. They are sick of the process.
Yes.
They're sick of hearing about it. They just want to win right now. What do you know about those fans in Philly?
I know that if you're not winning, they're booing you. They're throwing eggs on your car. They're calling you all types of names, and you're on the front page of the newspaper. I know that much.
So they made the big trade, Ben Simmons for James Harden. They're in the mix. They're in that mix with Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn, potentially Cleveland. But can they go an extra step this year? Can you win? Do you have any faith in this Joel Embiid, James Harden duo?
No, I really don't have any faith in Doc Rivers. I think he's had his chance. They haven't won. And what he's running right now is again, they won today, but I just don't think he's the coach to drive this team to the next level.
Well, we've got a big weekend preview coming up from NBA to NBL. But first, let's hear from Dirk talking about one of his game winners from his Hall of Fame career.
To throw it in. Get 5 seconds to do it. Nowitzki, Evans glued to him. Here's Nowitzki for the win. Got it. And the game is over. The game is over. Nowitzki wins it at the buzzer.
Oh, the game winner in Philly. Right shoulder, you know that. And the game is over. It was one of my few game winners at the buzzer.
Kings by 3. Harvey from a mile out. Oh my! Tyler Harvey ties it up. But this time it is from the car park. That's outrageous.
That was almost Jack Cowan type territory.
Stewart. Waterberg puts it down on Will McDowell White. Oh my goodness! Pick it off from deep, blowing by Derek Pardon. And then up and over. Will McDowell White takes the slap to the face.
Just a 6th turnover on the night for the 36ers. They've been pretty good in that area.
And he throws it down on top of Dekaku. That is loving it.
Challenge from Mathiang at the rim. And Rita at the other end, blocked by Ho.
Great rim protection by Hogan.
Easy outlet pass for another dunk. Get the champion. So here it is, here's the block. Can't go across that center line. He's back.
The race for the NBL play-in tournament continues to get wilder and wilder by the week. And this might be a good time for some reflection for the both of us, Copes.
Okay. Melbourne
United find themselves in the top 6 somehow, and we didn't think that this was possible
Neither one of
weeks
us.
ago.
We both said they're done, you know, and that's...
You might have written them off a little more than me on live television, but over the last 9 weeks, they've won 7-2. And if you look at purely net rating, they have been the best team in the league behind the Sydney Kings, who we all think are the favourite to win the title. So what have you seen with this turnaround? And are you impressed just with the mentality of this United team being able to flip the switch with nothing to lose?
It's all about the defense for them. Dean Vickerman's a defensive coach. Now, he settled them down. They got some of their players back. They're doing what they need. Tucker's playing a lot better. They're bringing XRM off the bench now, and Shea Ely is back running the show. And the number one thing is they're getting Chris Goulding the ball, okay? So now they're winning games, and like you said, we both counted them out, but it looks like other teams are letting them back in.
And a big hat tip, let me spit that out, a big hat tip, if I can learn how to talk, to the schedule makers, because the Adelaide 36ers, 2 of the last 3 games for Melbourne United are coming against Adelaide, a team that came into the year and thought that they were going to win a title. They went over, they won against the Phoenix Suns, and it just has not worked out.
It has not worked out because when you watch those guys in the preseason and they beat that NBA team, done something no other team's ever done, they beat an NBA team over there in the preseason, you expect to come back and do extremely well. They're just not gelling. They're not, something's not right. There's plenty of talent on the team. They're not winning games. They still have a chance, though, to get there. But the way they're playing, I don't think so.
Perth Wildcats and Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And I want to ask you about the Perth Wildcats. They brought in Ty Webster, and there is a crazy stat with the Wildcats. First in the league in offense, dead last in the league in defense. I've never seen anything like it. Can they win the title and make a serious run as the worst defensive team in the league?
Well, most coaches say defense wins games.
Yes.
But Golden State won championships by shooting the ball.
They got Draymond Green. They can defend.
Okay, one guy defending. Okay, listen. Perth Wildcats have brought in some players who can shoot the ball. Now, if they're rolling and that ball's going in on the right day, they can win any game at any time. So I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but I am saying John Riley's an offensive guy. He has the offensive guys going up and down and shooting the ball.
NBA Finals rematch, the Golden State Warriors and Boston Celtics. Quick one from you. Do the Golden State Warriors have it over the Boston Celtics, and what's it like coming up against a team that has beaten you in a championship series?
I think if the Golden State Warriors are healthy, Boston's playing fantastic basketball, but if Golden State are healthy and they're rolling and everyone's back, Wiggins and all those guys are back, look out for Golden State. I think they can win it. And you're right, Golden State has the hat on these guys because Perth Wildcats had it on us. They beat the Melbourne Tigers for 10 years in a row until we went over there and won our first championship. So never count them out.
It's what we love to see. And all those games will be live on ESPN. Copes, we've got through week 2. You get back to work this weekend. I'm sick of you being a slacker. See you next week.
Thank you, brother.